What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another useless review. This is going to be my review of this Fittest L Bracket that's actually made for the Canon M6, but that I found to be the best cheap L bracket solution for the Canon M50. Last time I checked online, the only L bracket that I found that's specifically made for the Canon M50 is made by Small Rig. And it's really nice, but two things: it's more video centric. I'm a landscape photographer, so it doesn't quite fit my needs, and also it's really expensive. It's about 60 bucks, which is not terrible for L brackets, but it's more than I wanted to spend for an L bracket for this camera. So I did a little digging around and I found this bad boy. It's made by a company called Fittest, which I've never heard of. It's about $18 on eBay, and it's made for the Canon M6. As you can see on the side here, it has a 6, kind of corny looking, but it is what it is. When I first saw images of this L bracket, I saw this little opening right here, and I thought, man, this is perfect. I could put it on my M50, and because it has an opening here, I should still be able to open the fully articulating screen. However, when I got the L bracket and I put it on, tried to open the screen, and unfortunately this opening here is just a little bit too high, and so it kind of blocks the little swivel mechanism here, the little part here, so I'm not actually able to fully open the screen this way, which is not a deal breaker. And again, this L bracket is made for the Canon M6 and not for the M50, so I'm not going to really fault it. It's fine. I can learn to work around it. Would be nice if I could adjust this part of the L bracket to bring it down a little bit lower so I could open the screen, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, because there's not many other L bracket solutions for the Canon M50. So this part is, you know, it is what it is. But if you're just a landscape photographer and don't really need this fully articulating screen, and you're trying to put it into this orientation, then this L bracket works perfectly. I've used it many times. It works great as an L bracket. Generally on these Canon M bodies, if you're just using the EF M lenses, which are really small and light, you probably don't even really need an L bracket. You can kind of put it on the ball head and tilt it in this orientation. And because the camera body and the lenses are so light, the ball head should be relatively stable enough to hold it. However, if you are a Canon M50 shooter, you know that, or if EFM shooter, period, with any of these M bodies, you know that the M lenses are not that great. So most people will adapt Canon EF or EFS lenses onto the camera. That's exactly what I did here. I have the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8 art lens attached with a Canon EF to EFM adapter, and with this lens on this camera, even though the camera is pretty light, it does make this setup pretty heavy, and so if I wanted to shoot in this orientation here without an L bracket, it'd be kind of hard to do. So that's why L brackets are necessary if you have a heavier setup. So it's kind of a bummer that the L part of this L bracket doesn't open enough for me to open the screen. However, there's one thing about this L bracket that makes it really, really awesome for the M50. So if you look at the bottom part of the L bracket here, if you're an M50 shooter, you already know that the battery life on this camera is pretty piss poor. It's just not great. You know, you can get by with casual shooting, but if you're going to use it for anything serious photo, serious video, then it's not going to cut it. The battery life is pretty bad, and so you are going to have to change the battery very often, very frequently, especially since this camera does not have USB charging, which is another thing that Canon casually decided to leave out. But, you know, what can you do? With all the other tripod quick release plates that I found, especially the Arca Swiss compatible ones and even the Manfrotto ones, whether you put them in this orientation or this orientation, it's just a little bit too big, and it blocks the battery door compartment, the battery compartment door here. And I can't, with those plates on there, I can't open up the battery compartment while the camera is still on the tripod. And you know, you could of course always take the camera off the tripod, take off the plate, and then open the battery door and then change the battery to the SD card and whatnot. But that's such a hassle. And if you could find a solution where you didn't have to do that, life would be so much better. And this bad boy here actually is that solution, or one of those solutions. I guess the dimensions of the M50 and the M6 are very similar, and where the battery compartment door is very similar, because the bottom part of this L bracket here has this big opening, which leaves enough room to where you can open the battery door actually pretty easily. So, excuse me, you can have the camera on a tripod, not take it off the tripod, and still open the battery door compartment so you can change the battery if you need it when you're shooting video or photo, and you can even take out the SD card from here. What I found myself doing a lot of times is when I'm not actually using this camera for a landscape photo session or using it for landscape photography, I actually take the L bracket part, this part here with the 6 on it, and I actually, if I can get it off here. Now I remove that part completely, and I leave that off so I can have access to my screen here, right? Access to my swivel screen. And I just leave this bottom part on, and this bottom part has actually not been taken off the camera since I've gotten it. I've kind of put it on there, and it's kind of just lived on there because it's the best quick release plate that I found for the M50. So there you have it. This is again the Fittest EOS M6 L Bracket. And it really works fairly well for the M50. It's not perfect, but it's the best solution that I found, especially if you're looking for an inexpensive option. I'm sure the small rig L bracket is fantastic, but again, I didn't want to pay $60 for it. And so there you go. I will leave a link to this bad boy in the description down below. Please like, subscribe, and leave any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching.